and Travis talking about the whole like fishing tournaments, um, getting up early, the whole thing. And me and him try to fish at least once a week anyway, but at the same time we don't get the opportunity and we don't think about fishing all these lakes that we fish. So fishing these lakes that we fish within the ASABFA BASS, uh, it's an experience. So at the same time, it is tough. So I've got a few questions for Travis. I'm gonna ask him and just see what his response is on it. So fishing the ASA, BFA, BSS stuff. What's your thought processes on this? Or have you enjoyed fishing these circuits within school?
Yeah, as much as I do enjoy fishing the tournaments, and it, like you said, it's an experience getting to, especially before they divided it into the leagues. But I don't know. It's hard to say because you look forward to it, but at the same time, when your alarm goes off at 2 o'clock in the morning, you think, why am I doing this? But
Well,
overall, it gives you another reason to go fishing, and it's really exciting when you do good, and when you don't do so good, you got to go fishing. So,
um, so in saying that, whenever we go fishing these tournaments and things that we've done, has there been certain parts of it that just stand out to you outside of places we've been fishing, just me and you?
uh, the the only lake that I remember just that I still kind of stands out to me. It was actually one of our first tournaments that we ever fished. I think it was it Alabama Lake, or you know what I'm talking
Logan
about?
Martin?
No, it was Alabama something.
Was it Alabama? The Alabama River?
Possibly. But anyways,
No, it was Lake Tuscaloosa.
Lake Tuscaloosa, there you go.
Yeah.
So, and I just remember everybody hated that lake so much. And so I kind of went into it expecting it to be bad, and it was, but it it kind of set it up where it gave you a basis of what it's like to fish places that you don't know, because
I get that.
of course you have the people that live around there, and they did great.
Oh yeah.
But and it's just like when we go, just us fishing on Wheeler, and we catch fish every time, and sometimes you do just have a bad day. But as far as just lakes in general, you know you got some water, some of them have rocks and some of them have grass, and you just gotta try to figure out a pattern and what's presented to you. And
Well, out of the stuff that we've learned, and we fish Gunnersville, Wheeler, Pickwick, now as a league, both leagues, Pickwick, Logan Martin,
Lake Martin,
Lake Martin, uh, Lake Jordan, uh, Pickwick, and what else?
Lake Tuscaloosa,
Lake
like we said
Tuscaloosa.
earlier.
I mean, out of all those, and we finished like 10th in Gunnersville. But if you had to pick a lake, what was your favorite lake to fish?
Well, Gunnersville is fun sometimes just because there's such big fish, but it has to be one of the most aggravating lakes to fish in, just because of the environment of the grass and everything else that there is to get hung up on. So, if I had to pick one lake that I could fish on for the rest of my life, I really think it'd probably be Wheeler, just because that's kind of where I've grown up fishing, and I know it really well, and I know it has fish and it has good fish. And like I said, it's water with some grass and rocks and some trees.
Man, I agree with you. My problem is like every time we fish a tournament at Wheeler, even though that we had a fantastic day, like the day before, it's like you go to Wheeler and it's like everything changes. It's so just
Variable.
variable. Man, everything, it's like every day something changes. But whenever you have a great day, it's awesome. Um,
And it has such great variety. Like, every kind of fish that you can find in North Alabama is heavy in Wheeler.
yeah, I agree with that. I mean, everything. I mean, even drum apart.
Yeah, yeah,
So, and catfish.
yep.
Uh, so, if you were going to fish in a tournament, though, and you had an opportunity to fish tournament fishing, it's like, okay, I've got the opportunity, I've got this much knowledge. Which would you want to fish?
Well, let's see. Lakes that I have liked that we fished tournaments on that, I'd either never fished before or maybe only once or twice. Logan Martin, Smith.
We forgot about Smith.
Yeah.
We just talking about
Yeah, Smith is. I actually like fishing on Smith pretty good because it's a spot lake. So, pretty much you can go throw crankbaits in 8 different places and you're probably going to catch fish in 6 of them.
Yeah.
So, and when you fish lakes that are predominantly large and smallmouth, you just don't get that unless it is during the spawn, which is only about a month and a half.
I get that.
And Smith, I have seen personally the biggest spots that I have ever seen in my life in that lake. So, because they have much less competition than spots in, say, Wheeler or Gunnersville.
So, if you were going to fish, let's say, like we just had this last tournament at Pickwick, and we tried everything outside the kitchen sink to catch fish in other places. But me and Travis, and he actually has one on the wall, Austin Bluffs, right outside of McFarland. So, knowing that the fact that we had fun fishing, in other times, catching, hybrid stripe and small stripe and stuff, and fishing those bluffs, and you caught that fish. But we had buddies that caught fish that they just absolutely blew us away in this tournament. Even though you caught your personal best smallmouth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what would make you want to fish a place like Pickwick, let's just say over Wheeler? I mean, because everybody I've heard has caught huge fish at Pickwick. I mean, I've even known somebody that's caught like double digit, like largemouth. How you do that? I mean, how do you make that decision? It's like, okay, this is the best lake, even though I know there's huge fish over here.
Well, I think the idea is there's huge fish everywhere. Every lake has its monsters because every fish in the lake can't be caught. And, Pickwick, even though Pickwick has,
I heard that.
great smallmouth and I mean, even spots and largemouth. Like I said, Wheeler, it's like home. It's like, if you play sports, you have your home field or your home court or whatever. Wheeler is like our home lake.
Okay. All right. So I know the answer to this because I've been with you. What is the favorite just fun fishing lake ever? And you know when you go there you're gonna catch fish. You're gonna put them in the boat, but you're gonna be disappointed if a fish comes in.
All right, I have two answers for this.
Okay, I got you.
All right, in the springtime, Logan Martin, because you can catch spots on bed like you are throwing fish food.
They ain't even on bed. I don't think. I think they're just spots.
Yeah, they're just schooled. But you can catch them like throwing fish food in a koi pond. I mean, every single cast. But Wheeler, again, we have 3 or 4 places where we can go, and 99% of the time load the boat with stripe, which are some of the most fun fish to catch.
They're hybrid stripe.
Hybrid stripe, yeah.
Time,
but
you can catch a teeny tiny one, or you can catch a 3-pounder.
They're almost like smallmouth. Like if you catch a 6-inch hybrid stripe, it will run your drag on your rod or your reel, and they're just fun to catch because you throw out there with a crankbait and reel it in, and they just come up and they are malicious fish. And you can catch some really nice ones. I mean, we've probably caught up to 2 pounds probably.
Yeah.
And they are a little aggravating because I do not care if it is the size of your pinky finger. It is finding a way to get 3 of those hooks in its mouth.
Every time.
Every time.
If you got 6 hooks, 6 hooks. If you got 3 hooks, 3 hooks. They're gonna get them in there.
Yep.
All right. What stands out to you as far as the people you fish with and the circumstances and how the team works?
I mean,
sorry, I know it's a lot of questions in one.
Well, okay, so the people that, whether you pick them or they get placed with you, unless you have fished with them before, you really don't know how they are. And everybody's technique is a little bit different. And, you may look at them and go, what are they doing? And then they catch more fish than you. So it's kind of just, I don't know the word for it, but it's different fishing with people that you haven't fished with your whole life. But it's fun too because it's new connections, and a lot of times they offer some new knowledge that you wouldn't have known without them. And then as far as the team, the concept of fishing as a team is pretty cool because, if one person doesn't do so good, another person can help them out. And even as the points go, as far as ASABFA, even if one boat doesn't do good and everybody else does, the one boat can still be rewarded because the next tournament they may do better than everybody else. And it kind of keeps you motivated because you're sitting there and you're not thinking to yourself, well, these people live around here, so of course they're going to be good at fishing. You can look at your team that did good and go, well, if they're catching fish, what can I do different to match up to them, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with that. And like I said, I wanted to get somebody's point of view other than mine, because as a boat captain, the hardest thing for me is making sure that y'all are in a position to catch fish. And sometimes, some people have a lot of knowledge, some people don't. And the knowledge I have, I mean, you both know, and it's a lot less than I want it to be. And to provide that to y'all and provide an opportunity and to be around other people that are fishing makes a huge difference because it makes for a better experience later on. I mean, the whole thing is about all of us having a good time, learning something, and providing an opportunity so that other people will understand how to catch fish, how to enjoy time, with your friends and family, and um, I think this whole tournament series is awesome. So
Yeah.
I've enjoyed spending time with you. I hate waking up early in the morning, but at the same time, whenever we do good, it's awesome. Whenever we don't do good, it's terrible. But at the same time, it's worth the the good outweighs the bad. I guess.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I know you were talking more about being a captain, but talking about, having limited knowledge, like I said, that's where making those connections within the community are very beneficial, because with the first time we ever fished Gunnersville at a tournament, I that was one of the first times that I had ever really fished that lake since.
First time I'd ever fished that lake.
Yeah.
And both of us.
So we went into it fishing, having fished Wheeler, Wilson, Pickwick, all these places where every fish you catch is on a bluff or a point.
Or rock or
Rocks in general.
bush or
Yeah. So the first time we fished Gunnersville, that's what we looked for, rocks, bluffs, and we didn't sense a tingle of a fish all day. And we talked to some people, and they were like, "No, you can't catch fish in Gunnersville on rocks. You have to fish in the grass." And the next tournament we did that, and I think we caught 3. And then the last 2 tournaments that we've had there, maybe the last 2 out of 3 or something, we fished in this little, I don't know if you'd call it a pocket or a cove, but this little area where a lot of grass and some lily pads grow, and it just holds fish. Like, you can sit there and watch fish swim under you, and we've caught fish every time we've gone there. So
sometimes it takes a while to get them on the boat.
Yeah. They really heat up as the day goes on. Just, I guess, as the water slowly warms up, they start migrating out of the grass more. But anyways.
All right. I appreciate the interview, bud.
Yep.
Have a good one.